Hey, I'm Will from Cardboard Minute, and I'm going to be playing Grove, which is a small game based on Orchard from Mark Tuck. It was originally a 9-card solitaire game that was released as a print and play, eventually got kickstarted and printed, and this is essentially a sequel with much of the same gameplay, but some improved and revamped rules and some additional scoring objectives. I'm going to teach you how to play the game. I'll briefly go over the multiplayer mode. This game is primarily a solo game. And then I'll play through a full game, and then I'll give my review afterwards. In Grove, you are building your orchard, I guess, of various fruits, and improving those fruits by overlaying cards on top of each other, using the dice to represent the fruits and the points they gather. Version of the game, compared to Orchard, has a wheelbarrow that's worth additional points, and a squirrel. Gone are the rotten fruits, however. So a game is very simple. For the basic game, which is what I will be playing later on in the video, you are going to randomly shuffle the deck and draw 9 cards to form your deck, and then have a starting card in the center. And then you are going to have a hand of 2 cards, of which you will always refill after playing, and you'll just play a card, draw a card, play a card, draw a card, and so on. When you're playing a card, you must cover at least one section of the card, but you can cover as much as you are legally allowed to on the card. So for example, you could cover over one of these grove areas, which are the blanks, or cover something over with a grove. If you ever cover over matching fruits, you will take a die of the matching color and add up the values. So in this case, a 2 and a 1 will add up to a 3. If later on we were able to increase that, say maybe if I play this card here, the 3 would get added to the newer 2 and would bring that up to a 5. So you can see you can always cover over a tree with a grove, essentially nullifying that tree, unless there's a die there, which I'll get to. But you may never cover over a tree of a different color with another color. However, you may do that only once per game, in which case the squirrel is involved. So if you wanted to cover over, let's see, maybe I wanted to place, it actually works really well. So say maybe I wanted to place here, I'd be covering the lemon with the lime, and that would be okay, but I'd have to use up my squirrel. My squirrel is worth -1 points at the end of the game, an additional -1 point for each die it is orthogonally adjacent to. You may only do this once, of course. You'll notice that the dice are not standard die. They go from 2 to 6, and then they have a basket of fruit on the other side, which represents 10 points. So once your fruit has added up to 6, if you go beyond 6, it promotes directly to a 10. And if you were to cover over a basket, then that gains a promotion up to the 15-point wheelbarrow, returning your die to the supply. Of course, there is only one wheelbarrow, so you can only do that once. If you run out of die of a certain color, you cannot build that fruit. If you have a grove and there is an existing die, so like in this case, there's E2, and no, that's probably not the best example. So say there's a die here from whatever other reason, and I want to place, oh, that's perfect. And I want to place a card over it, which would turn a die into a grove. So remember, if it's just a tree and a grove, the grove replaces it. In this case, however, the die would move on to the blank grove area, which represents the fruit falling to the ground. However, any die that are on a blank grove at the end of a game do not score. You must promote it using an additional card and bring it back up to the status of a full tree in order to score. So that is the basic game. You play until you've gone through all 9 cards, and then you add up your pips on all the dice, and you can compare your score to the rulebook. This is a beat your own high score style game. If for additional challenge or just to change up the game a little bit, you can play with the advanced recipe mode, of which before you set up, you'll draw 2 random cards from the deck. Each card will have a slightly different scoring objective, and you'll add up the 2 values in the corner, which will give you a target score that you must beat, but including the additional score. This will typically be higher than a standard score because you now have additional ways to add points. So that was all the solitaire game. Multiplayer game, essentially you need a copy of the game for each player, and you are just mimicking each other's moves. One player will be the one who is drawing the cards, and you'll see each card has a number associated on it, and they would just call out to any other players that are playing, you know, we're drawing card number 4, this turn to add to your hand, and then so on and so forth, so that everyone ends up drawing the same cards in the same order. If there's a tie, it is the person with the most number of dice wins the game. So that is how you play. I am going to give a quick shuffle here. I'm not going to play with the recipes just for sake of simplicity, and you can see how the game system works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The other half can be set aside. We'll draw a starting card, place in the middle, and 2 cards for my hand. It's too bad I couldn't continue with my demo because I was getting some pretty lucky draws there. I think I've got some pretty good luck already here, so I'm going to promote that one's going up to a 3, a 2, and a 2 lemon. Not a bad start. Draw a new card. Ooh, let's get some oranges going. It'd be nice to get the limes as well, but that's not going to happen here. So we are going to a 4 and a 3. And draw a new one. Not a bad start. It'd be really nice if I can get some baskets here to really amplify my score. And I think my luck may have ran out in this case. I don't think I'm going to be able to get those oranges up any higher anytime soon. So there's a fair amount of wiggling around you're going to have to do in this game to kind of get things to where you want them, or to grok where they're going to end up. So let's see here. Maybe I can go for green, yellow. No. I could get these ones up a little farther, but would that allow me to get the orange later? Not likely. I really want to get those orange dice up. I may have to just take the hit of the squirrel and place that there, perhaps. Or maybe not. So there's definitely some thinkiness to this game that you can probably see. And I'm sure people are probably yelling at me to, there's one best solution to play and I have not seen it. But that is fine. I really love those oranges to get built up. Oh, actually, oh yeah, that's it there. So the greens are covered, we lose the yellows, that is fine. So I'm going up to 6 and a 2. I found it. Can I get my grove up higher? No, that would afford me a squirrel. This would not be good either. One squirrel, again, is not too terrible, but I'd rather not if I can help it. That might even be worth it, just to get the bonus points for that. I think I'm going to take the squirrel. So the squirrel is going to go here, and I'm going up to a basket. let's see, 4 and 3. So baskets of 4, a green 3, and a squirrel. But that works well with my next card here. Ooh, or is this one better? No, it's not better. Okay, so 5, 5, and 3. 5, 5, and 3. Okay, not too bad. Almost got those up to a 6. I wonder if I can go farther. Not bloody likely. Oh, I could place that there, but I might lose that 5 if I can't build over it later. That would be risky for sure, because I'd have to come in. Can't cover over the squirrel. I don't have any more squirrels either. To get that back, it would be possibly impossible. So I don't think the 5, losing the 5 points is worth it. You know, not when I can go down here and just get a bunch of points already. Or even here and boost all these up. So I want to do this one. So 4, 3, and 4. 4, 3, 4. I think overall that probably ended up being more points than if I had tried my luck on the squirrel. Oh, maybe I could have done it. I don't know. And let's see, the last 2 cards. Can I get things any higher? I can here. So a 5, 5, 4, and a 6 is what we're looking at. Wonder if I can get another basket in before the end of the game. Would really like to do that if possible. No. Greens and oranges. Yellows. No. I mean, I could. No, I can't do that either. Because I can't cover that green. Over here, I can't do that. Can't get in here. These yellows and greens are no good for me. I could get in here for a few points. I can't go any farther, unfortunately. And this is the end of the game. So I'm just going to go there. So 3 and the 3. And there you have it. All right, final score is 10, 20, 30, 46, minus 1, 2, 3, so 43. Not a fantastic score, but I quite enjoyed the game. Let's head back up and see my review. So Grove is very much like some of these new card laying games where they've become quite popular lately. I know Sprawlopolis has really kind of put that game on the map. Not convinced Sprawlopolis is the first to do that. I know there's been some strange earlier versions like Honshu that try to incorporate trick taking. But if you play with the drafting variant, Honshu becomes a delightful game with some great drafting. Sprawlopolis is probably still best in jar when it comes to just variability in the amount of game in a very small amount of cards. But Grove has its own interesting puzzle, the way that cards are additive on top of each other. You're not just blocking cards, trying to reveal and show what's like whatever is on the most uppermost revealed layer. You're instead building the layers, growing the fruit as you go. And I think that's what sets this game apart from a lot of the other games in the genre, is that mechanic. And compared to the original, I will cover the original real quick. I did miss the original printing of the of Orchard, but I did do the print to play back at the time, and quite enjoyed it. One of my kids really liked playing it, and then when Grove came on a Kickstarter, I thought this looked even better, and I just had to back it and support the developer, and I'm really glad I did. I quite enjoy it. The puzzle is really interesting. The difference in this game is that there was rotten fruit before. You had a couple of them, which I actually kind of like the squirrel, but the fruits added, instead of just a straight stacking of trees, you now have actually add up the numbers of fruits, and that changes things a little bit. Plus, of course, the recipe expansion or the recipe add-on that is on the back of all the cards brings us up to a similar level to Sprawlopolis, where the scoring conditions are slightly different each time. Now, there are a lot of duplicates in the scoring. There's essentially one of each color for some of the more basic things, like, let's see, a good example here. There on the other cards, like Jellos. There's like a Jello version of each of the three colors that are all essentially the same. But there are still some interesting scoring mechanics in these that will change up the game a little bit from play to play. As far as mechanics, the dice are great and they look like little fruits. The pips on the dice, I don't know if you could see that from the playthrough. The baskets, the screen printed meeples. This lovely little box. This thing is just so sturdy, and while I'm not convinced it's going to keep everything in it, when it's full, it is still very well done and a very solid, cute little box. But my wife has already absconded with this game, and I had to steal it back from her because she was, after watching me play it once, she took off with it and has been playing it, and quite enjoys the game as well. In case you want to take that as a spoiler. And the cards are that kind of plasticized card that is really going to last a long time for a lot of plays. And while it feels slightly strange to play with plastic cards, I think it works, and it's going to be very durable. So I do highly recommend Grove. Do check it out, or if you're looking for something even simpler, Orchard, but I don't think there's any reason to own both. Grove is definitely the superior game in that sense. There's just more to it. Whether you play just the base game like I did, or add in the expansions, the scoring, I do highly recommend anyone who likes small solo puzzles that involve a little bit of tile placement, kind of tile placement. I definitely recommend you check it out. You can also look at my reviews for Sprawlopolis if you want to see another similar game in a small form factor. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'm Will from Cardboard Minute.